Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Shana Tova.
Shabbat Shalom, Shana Tova.
My name is Rabbi Meir Bargeron, and I am so honored and pleased to be here with Cantor Yvonne Shore and with Maestro Robert Nance. We will be leading you together through prayer this evening. And it's such a pleasure to be with the congregation Achduth Vesholom community, as well as people from all over the country who are with us tonight. I want to give a particular welcome to the members of Olympic B'nai Shalom congregation in Port Angeles, Washington, who are many whose members are with us this evening and will be with us through the holidays. You will notice that we are here in our sanctuary, which is an amazing and beautiful, beautiful moment. I'll be very honest, this is the first time that I've had a chance to pray on this bima since coming to Fort Wayne in July, and it is truly, truly an honor and a privilege. But we know that while Cantor Shore and Bob and I are here, everyone else is not here, and you are in your homes, the places where you are praying tonight. And let me assure you, the walls of this sanctuary extend as far as they need to go to include all of us as one Kehila Kadosha, one holy community. So this year, it is Rosh Hashanah, the beginning of the year, but it is also Shabbat. And I'd like to invite you, wherever you are, to take a moment, get comfortable. Whatever you're sitting in, let it support you. Put your feet on the floor and take a deep breath and let that breath out. And I want you to think about for just a moment, as we enter Shabbat, take a moment and consider the week that has just passed. Whatever it is that you're holding on to right now, the thing that might be best, if you leave that behind, go ahead, let that go. I promise you, it'll be there waiting for you when Shabbat is over. But now, take another deep breath and let it out and think for a moment. What is it that you want? What is it that you need from this Shabbat? What is it that you are seeking as we enter this new year? Take a moment and consider that. So for those things that we're leaving behind and those things that we are hoping for as we journey through Shabbat and through the beginning of this new year together, that is your holy work. That is your accompaniment through this Shabbat and through this Rosh Hashanah. And now we will begin our service on page 17.
And if you feel so comfortable, please rise.
Here I am, one soul within this prayer community.
Like those around me, I bring my own concerns and yearnings to this place,
hoping they will find expression in the time-hallowed words of my people and in the traditions cherished by generations before me.
May I bring the best of my energies to these holy days, approaching this spiritual work with open heart and mind, sincerity and sustained focus on the deep questions of this season.
Who am I? How shall I live? Where have I fallen short or failed?
This night I take up the challenge of the days of awe, Cheshbon HaNefesh, a searching examination of my life, a moral inventory of my deeds, words, and thoughts.
During the next 10 days, let me face the truth about myself and listen to your still, small voice.
Taking comfort in your promise that I am always free to change, released from staleness and routine, let me know the joy of beginning again.
And may I gain strength as I share this task with those around me, those everywhere, united by our common purpose. Tikkun Midot, improving our characters, and Tikkun Olam, repairing the world. I now prepare myself to pray, one soul amidst this holy congregation.
Ki ata shomeya tefilat anecha Yisrael berachamim. Baruch ata shomeya tefilat.
You may be seated. And in just a moment, we will join with Fran Adler, the co-chair of the Rabbinic Search Committee, who will kindle the lights of Shabbat and the lights of Yom Tov, this special holy day. You will find the candle blessing on page 11.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshana b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu, lahadlik ner shel Shabbat v'shel Yom Tov. Blessed are you, eternal our God, who has sustained us with your commandments and commanded us to kindle the lights of Shabbat and Yom Tov. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Blessed are you, eternal our God, for giving us life, for sustaining us, and for enabling us to reach this day.
By video, we had a day here last week where people came in one person at a time to maintain safety and distance, and pre-recorded their blessings, their readings, the things that you'll be seeing over these high holy days. So thank you, Fran, for going first. And in a moment we will continue, but I want to pause and just let us consider for just a moment what it is that Rosh Hashanah, the beginning of the year, what this day can mean for us. For me, I think of this as the beginning of return, coming back each year in a cycle to where we start, year after year after year, coming back and reclaiming, reimagining, and re-embracing the creation of our world, the creation of each of us. As we continue to enter tonight the new year, think for a moment where it is that you were 1 year ago today and see where you are now as we enter this new year together. And now the service will continue on page 15. The service will continue on page 19. Please rise. Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu, our God and God of our ancestors, may we know your blessings in the year 5781. Eternal One, bless us and the whole house of Israel with renewed life, happiness and peace, comfort and courage, resilience and strength. May the words of our heart be acceptable to you in the new year that stretches before us. We are forever grateful for the gift of life. We will continue on page 20 with the Baruch Hu. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Vaed. You may be seated. We continue on page 23. Bless Adonai who spins the day into dusk. With wisdom watch the dawn gates open. With understanding let time and seasons come and go. With awe perceive the stars in lawful orbit. Morning dawns, evening darkens, darkness and light yielding one to the other, yet each distinguished and unique. Marvel at life. Strive to know its ways. Seek wisdom and truth, the gateways to life's mysteries. Wondrous indeed is the evening twilight. Amen. We continue on page 24. Love beyond all space and time, your love enfolds your people Israel. We receive it in your teaching, your gift of Torah, sacred obligations, discipline, and law. So let us speak these teachings when we lie down and rise up and find joy forever in your Torah and mitzvot. They are the very essence of our life, ours to ponder and study all our days. May we never lose or be unworthy of your love. Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Israel. Blessed are you, the one who loves your people, Israel. Please rise for the Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
You may be seated. We will continue on page 28.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
We will continue on page 34 with Micha Mocha.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורות עילות עוזי ואלה. מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע הים לפני משה ומרים. זה אלי אנו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר, כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
We continue on page 36. Bless our sleep with peace, Adonai, and awaken us to life when we rise. With power sublime, spread over us your shelter of shalom, and through your wisdom restore us, make us whole. Let your name proclaim your presence in our lives. Be our shield. Make us stronger than the enemies we face. Illness and war, famine and sorrow, and stronger than the enemies in our hearts, wickedness and sin. Carry us to safety as on wings, for you are the monarch of grace, the sovereign of compassion. You are the one who cares for us and sets us free. Watch over us, we who go forth to life. Watch over us, that we may come home in peace, now till the end of time. Baruch Ata Adonai Haporei Sukkot Shalom Aleinu Ve'akol Israel Ve'akol Amo Israel Ve'al Yerushalayim. Blessed One, you spread over us a canopy of peace, a shelter of shalom over all Israel, your people, and over Jerusalem. Page 38. Yamim Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz u'bayom hashvi Shabbat vayinafash. We will continue on page 40. Please rise for Chatzi Kaddish. Amen.
בעלמא דברך חירותי, וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון, ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בגלה ובזמן קריב וימרו.
Amen.
יהי שמי רבה, מברך לעולם, ולעולם ועולמיה יתברך וישתבח, יתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי דקודשה
בריחו
לילה ולעילה, מן כל ברכתו ושירתו, תושבחתו ונחמתו, דמירן בעלמא, לאמרו.
Know before whom you stand. You can't rush a prayer to God. If it comes from the heart, it will rush out on its own, speed through the receding galaxies or silences in the soul, and God will hear. Honestly, with all, but speaking to God is different. For the coal and gems and the regular earth, no pretense, and God will hear. Don't force the prayer or string the words together. Pause, perhaps. Better not to pray. Silence will be a message of awe, and God will hear. Now, step off into the very deep, beyond the way of prayer. We glimpse unknown magnitudes of God. No more, or we would be stunned into silence, except that love makes itself small. We could not pray at all. We'll continue on page 42 with the Amidah. Please rise as you are able.
My mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah
Shemo.
Magen Avraham Bezrat Sarah.
Amen.
Ata Gibor Leolam Adonai Mechaye Kol Ata Rav Lehoshia Mechal Kel Chayim Bechesed Mechaye Kol Berachamim Rabim Samich Noflim Rovei Cholim Umatir Asurim Umekayem Emunato Lishinei Apar Michamocha Bal Gevorot Ubidum Elach Melech bebitu mechayev umatmeach Yeshua michamocha avarachamim zocher yitzorav lechayim v'rachamim נאמנתה להחיות הכל ברוך אתה אדוני
Baruch uvarech Shemo.
מחיי הכל
Amen. When we pray, we engage in an interaction. I've heard prayer called God listening to us, listening to God. Prayer is the most personal way we have of expressing our relationship to God and, I say, our relationship to ourselves. And to pray to God, we need to be able to address God by name. Adonai, Eloheinu, Eternal One, Yah. We have many names for God. Whatever name it is that you have settled on, because it is the way for you to have your most authentic connection with God through God's name, that is the name for you to use. By knowing and saying God's name in prayer, we are making God's name holy, and God is in turn making us holy. As we pray and fill ourselves with God, we experience awe, and we are inspired to act with righteousness. And so, in your holiness, give all creation the gift of awe. Turn our fear into reverence. Let our witnesses of wonder, perceiving all nature as a prayer, come alive. We bow to the sovereignty of your strength, the primacy of your power. We yearn for the connection with all that lives, doing your will with wholeness of heart. Awe-inspiring is your creation, all encompassing your transcendent name. We will continue on page 52. You are holy. Your name is awe. There is nothing divine beyond you. As the prophet Isaiah taught, the source of all might is exalted through justice, the God of holiness made holy through righteousness.
Baruch atah Adonai,
Baruch Vesholom.
HaMelech HaKadosh.
Amen. We continue on page 57. God, who is ours. This is the season of God. This is the season of our humanity. And this is the day when one word stands at the very center of Jewish prayer, Meloch. 3 Hebrew letters, Mem, Lamed, Kaf. Reign over space and time. Meloch, reign over the infinite expanse. Show us your reality. Help us see our finite place in the cosmos that is our home. What is God Almighty? What is God's rule? It is the rule of unity by which we sense coherence in the universe. It is the power of relationship, relating every image of God to every other image of God, and to every facet of nature. Sunshine and ocean waves, heartbeats, honeybees, the stuff that stars are made of. It is the ultimate power that governs our lives with wisdom, compassion, truth, and kindness. In this season of God, may we breathe new life into the ancient name Melech HaOlam. And may the ruler of the universe breathe new life into each of us. We'll continue on page 58. God, who is ours, and God of our fathers and mothers, may our rest on this Shabbat bring you pleasure. Lead us to holiness through your mitzvot, and may each of us find a portion of Torah that is ours. You bestow such goodness. Teach us to be satisfied and to know the joy of your salvation. Let your holy Shabbat be our heritage, embraced freely and with love, and may all our people bring holiness to your name by resting on this day. Help us to serve you truly with purity of heart, for you are a faithful God whose truth stands forever. We continue. Baruch atah Adonai, Melech HaKol HaAretz, Mekadesh HaShabbat v'Yisrael v'Yom HaZikaron. Our praise to you, Eternal One, whose power pervades all the earth. You bring holiness to Shabbat, to the people Israel, and to this day of remembrance. We will continue now on page 60. Eternal our God, your people Israel yearns for your favor. Receive their prayer with loving acceptance, and may you always desire your people's worship. Divine One, close to all who call upon you, bring your grace and presence near to those who serve you. Pour forth your Spirit upon us, and may our eyes see your merciful return to Zion. Baruch atah Adonai, hamachazir shechitanu l'tzion. Blessed are you, whose divine presence is felt again in Zion. We continue on page 64. And for all these gifts, God of majesty, may your name come to be blessed and praised, our gratitude a daily offering until the end of time. Inscribe your covenant partners for a life of goodness, and may all life resound with gratitude and faith in praise of your name. God, you free us and strengthen us. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ucha na'eh lahodot. Blessed are you, Adonai, whose goodness deserves thanks and praise. We will continue on page 66. Shalom Rav HaYisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam.
Ki ata melech Adon lechol hashalom.
Ki atahu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Beracha v'shalom ufanaseh tova. Yishayim tovim, Yishalom. And now we will have a moment for silent prayer. We will continue on page 7D. Please rise for Avinu Malkeinu, which you will find on page 76. Avinu Malkeinu, almighty and merciful, you alone are our sovereign.
Avinu Malkeinu, for your sake, show us mercy.
Avinu Malkeinu, act towards us as benefits your name.
Avinu Malkeinu, bring healing and wholeness to the ill among us.
Avinu Malkeinu, allay the harshness of the decree against us.
Avinu Malkeinu, inscribe us in the book of redemption and renewal.
Avinu Malkeinu, remember our goodness and call it to mind.
Avinu Malkeinu, act for your sake and save us.
Avinu Malkeinu, almighty and merciful, hear our voice.
Avinu Malkeinu, we have strayed and sinned before you.
Avinu Malkeinu, have compassion on us and our families.
Avinu Malkeinu, halt the onslaught of sickness, violence, and hunger.
Avinu Malkeinu, halt the reign of those who cause pain and terror.
Avinu Malkeinu, enter our names in the book of lives well lived.
Avinu Malkeinu, renew for us a year of goodness.
Avinu Malkeinu, Choneinu v'Haneinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Choneinu v'Haneinu, ki ein banu masi. Aseh imanu, tzedaka v'chesed. Aseh imanu, tzedaka v'chesed, ve'hoshienu. Avinu Malkeinu, Choneinu v'Haneinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Choneinu v'Haneinu, ki ein banu masim.
You may be seated. It's now my pleasure and my privilege to introduce Ellen Tom, our president, with her address for our community on Rosh Hashanah.
Welcome in Shana Tova. On behalf of the Temple Board of Directors and Rabbi Bargeron, thank you for joining us for the High Holy Days. I am also pleased to welcome our new friends from Congregation Olympic B'nai Shalom in Port Angeles, Washington, along with their lay leader, Suzanne DeBay. In some ways, it feels like this year has flown by as we were just sharing the High Holy Days together. And on the other hand, as we find ourselves in these unprecedented times, it seems like forever since we have been able to come together at the temple. For me, I miss the joy that a simple warm hug brings from my temple friends and family. The last few months have been filled with highs and lows, but the beauty of this holiday is that we are able to wipe the slate clean and begin again. This upcoming year provides us with an opportunity for something new and different, a chance to begin afresh with a new outlook and goals. While all of us continue to deal with the realities of COVID, we have plenty to celebrate and be excited about. We have a wonderful and special new rabbi, one congregation with two traditions, new trustees to the board and committee chairs, and a new religious school principal, all leading the way for a new and renewed vision for Congregation Achduth Vesholom that is bright and promising. We will be regrouping and reviewing, reshaping, and recreating. We want you to view the temple as the place where you want to come and take a breath, actively participate in all worship, educational, and social programming, enjoy friendships, and ensure through your contributions that our 172-year-old legacy is here for future generations to come. We understand that the role Judaism plays in our lives might look differently for each of us. So our new vision starts with two very important components of our traditions. How do we continue to come together as one congregation? How do we stay connected during this time of uncertainty? As a temple family, we will explore ways in which we live our Jewishness biachad together. We will continue to look for opportunities to create a dialogue, whether virtually or in person. And when does in person happen? Let me share with you again what I shared during our virtual annual meeting. When we closed the temple March 13th, we did so only after exhausting all options to remain open. When we reopen, we will do so only if we can do so safely. As your board contemplates how and when to reopen the temple, we realize the number of details to consider and resolve is complex and mind-boggling. We have discussed how to exist with COVID-19 with our temple counterparts and colleagues, places of worship around the United States, the Hebrew Union College, and the Union for Reform Judaism. Recommendations from these sources and medical health experts evolve as new information becomes available. Consequently, our plans are evolving and continually in need of updating. Decisions about when and how our temple will reopen, will likely not be finalized until after the High Holy Days. Regardless of when we reopen, our preparations will continue to be guided by making decisions based on facts provided by our local medical and health experts. Our decisions will be made with the intent of minimizing health risks while maximizing our ability to provide a healthy and safe space for all our congregants. The process of developing plans for implementing worship, educational, and programming services has been ongoing and typically include three potential scenarios: opening at full capacity, implementing a hybrid model comprising both remote and on-site activities at limited capacity, or continuing full-time remote. Regardless of how we move forward, we are committed to doing so in a manner that safely accommodates our congregants, staff, and visitors. In closing, it is important to recognize and acknowledge all those that volunteer countless hours and for whom, without their contributions, the temple could not exist. Thank you to our Board of Trustees, Kathy Sider, Scott Goldberg, Bobby Golani, and Jay Zimmel, Larry Edelman, Pam Friedman, Rachel Gordon, Denny Reynolds, Brian Rossman, Mark Schneider, Josh Turco, Wendy Wallet, and Beth Zweig. To our committee chairs, Jamie Berger, Rena Black, Joe Cohen, Betsy Gephardt, Bobby Golani, Bonnie Pomerantz, Denny Reynolds, Brian Rossman, Kathy Sider, John Stein, Sally Trotter, Wendy Wallet, Jay Zimmel, Beth Zweig, and Dan Zweig, and also to our wonderful committee members. To our religious school, Rabbi Bargeron, Principal Pam Friedman, and staff Bruce Colgrove, Betsy Gephardt, Rachel Gordon, Dave Flappin, Ron Friedman, and Micah Soltz. Our lay leaders, Bruce Colgrove, Ron and Pam Friedman, Ronnie and Norm Greenberg, and Marcia and Denny Reynolds. And to all our congregants, thank you for being here this evening and for every time you step into the temple or join us virtually or via live stream. Thank you for your generous donations, participation, and for saying yes when called upon. The preparation for the High Holy Days has been a tremendous undertaking. It has been a true collaborative effort and partnership. Our gratitude to Rabbi Meir Bargeron, Ron and Pam Friedman, Cantor Yvonne Shore, Maestro Robert Nance, and Michael Small for the beautiful service and music. And to our Ritual Committee Chair, Denny Reynolds, Executive Director, Samara Charay, Lee Pomerantz, Jay Zimmel, and Beth Zweig, and of course, our temple staff, Jamie Fritz, Marie McFadden, Clint Rossiter, and Anna Sabler. On Rosh Hashanah it is written, on Yom Kippur it is sealed. May it be written and may it be sealed that you have a new year that brings fulfillment and happiness, peace and prosperity, all of life's very best things. Have a happy and healthy new year.
Far to our High Holy Days services this year. Our guests include members of Congregation Olympic B'nai Shalom in Port Angeles, Washington. We thank them for giving us the opportunity to share our communal worship with the Olympic Peninsula Jewish community. I'm going to highlight a few announcements. Please also check this morning's congregational email to find a more complete and downloadable announcement handout, as well as a list of our holiday sponsors. We will continue our Rosh Hashanah celebration as one congregation with two traditions. Please join us on Saturday morning for one of our worship services. The traditional service will begin at 9 a.m. and will be available on Zoom. And the Reform service will begin at 10 a.m. and will be on YouTube, the way you got to this service tonight. Links were sent out this morning for the coming weeks of services, so check your email. I promise you, it's there. On Sunday morning, we will have a traditional service for the second day of Rosh Hashanah at 9 a.m., which will also be on Zoom. And in this most unusual year, when we haven't gotten to see each other in person, we do have a special opportunity to, let me say this clearly, get together in person, distantly and safely. And how will we do that, you might ask? Well, at 2 p.m. in the temple parking lot, we will meet for our drive-in shofar service and tashlich. So you can come in your car, stay in your car, or stand by your car with a mask. This promises to be a pretty unique aspect of the High Holy Day season. So we will come together, you will have a shofar service, you will hear the blowing of two shofar blowers who will be quite far apart from each other and from the rest of us, but you'll be able to hear that. We will also share in a Tashlich observance, although for safety reasons, we will not go together to the river for Tashlich, but we will prepare to go on our own journeys for Tashlich. So that will be part of what we'll do. So please wear your mask if you come, and please observe social distancing guidelines. And if you can come, if it's safe for you to come, we would love to see you. And this, well, I guess elbow bump and wave, but it'd be so nice to be together again. Please help us to continue to assist those with food insecurity with your donation of non-perishable food and household items. Our annual holiday drive will benefit the food bank at Wellspring Interfaith Social Services. Please check the announcements for the schedule of next week's drop-off donations at the temple here or directly to Wellspring. And we are appreciative to the Social Action Committee for organizing that. Please also consider a donation to our 10th annual Thoughtful Thursdays Apple Project to provide fresh fruit to our Bright Point Head Start students and families. And in the announcement handout, which went out on email, you will find the schedule for Yom Kippur services, including the Bring Your Own Nosh Break the Fast on Zoom. While we are going to very sadly miss the Romeos cooking this year, we're grateful, nonetheless, to have the chance to schmooze and virtually offer greetings. And for any members who haven't yet picked up a machzor, a prayer book for Yom Kippur, please contact the temple office when we reopen on Tuesday, and they can help you arrange to borrow one. So thank you, everyone, again for joining us tonight as we begin 5781, and we are most fortunate to have Cantor Shore and Maestro Robert Nance providing such beautiful music and supporting our prayer. I am so appreciative, too, of the temple staff, Clint Rossiter, Marie McFadden, Samara Charay, and Jamie Fritz, as well as the production team, who you can't see, but I can, and they are making us look and sound as good as we can look and sound. We are so grateful for their help and for their support, and for the many, many dedicated volunteers who have worked so hard to create a meaningful holiday experience. And lastly, thank you to our High Holy Day sponsors for their generosity in helping us offset the unanticipated costs of going with virtual services. So Shana Tova, and thank you again to all of you for being a part of our temple family. We will now continue on page 82 with Aleinu. I will invite you to rise as you are able.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגור עלינו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה
You may be seated. And here we are again at another holiday, another Rosh Hashanah, another year in which we remember those who are no longer with us. These special holy days, these days of memory, sometimes heighten the loss of those who have died. In a moment, we will say Mourner's Kaddish. We will say our prayer of memory for those who are no longer with us. I'll pause for just a few seconds after I read the list of those in our community who we are remembering this Shabbat, and invite you to say aloud the names of those who you are remembering this Shabbat. This Shabbat, we mark the Shloshim, the passing within the last 30 days of Ruby Jackson. It is also Shana, the period of 1 year for the death of Tanya Leah Greenspoon, Grensha Bat Natan V'Rachel, Jeanette Bat Natan V'Rachel, Gilbert Yosef Chaim Ben Yudul, and Ira Sokoloff. This Shabbat marks the yahrzeit, the anniversary of death of Herb Albert, Lloyd Amster, Minette Baum, Benjamin Becker, Joe Blumenthal, Blanche Boyles, Joseph Crystal, Daniel, Terry D'Arenzio, Evelyn Feldman, Adolf Greenbaum, Frida Hyman, Toby Keeps Greenspan, Carol Kralness, Sam Landy, Charles Leopold, Sam Levin, Jacqueline Levin, Howard Levin, Jenny Levitz-Levis, Doris Myers, Sidney Motel, Julius Nathan, Robert Newschultz, Philippine Pechnaek, Nate Pollock, William Pollock, Ronald Repka, Benjamin Rosenberg, Tilly Schubert, Henry Schwartz, Bruce Stone, Rose Walters, Emmanuel Warhauser, Dr. Ivan I. Weinraub, Judith Zala, and we also remember those in our hearts. I invite you to rise as a community for the recitation of Mourner's Kaddish, which you will find on page 90. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ve'almadi v'racherote ve'amlich malchute, b'chayachon v'yamachon v'chayed kol beit Israel, Bagala vizman kariv v'imru, Amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mavarach le'olam ulmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitparar v'yitnoram v'yitnaser, v'yithadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei dekudesha barichu, le'ela u'ela mikol birchata v'yosharata, tush bechata v'nechamata, dameran be'elma v'imru, Amen. Yehi shlama Rabbi min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'akol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'akol Yisrael ve'akol yoshvei tevel, v'imru, Amen. Please be seated. We continue on page 99. I'll say it differently again. We continue on page 99 as we recognize this last moment of Erev Rosh Hashanah together. Our God and God of our ancestors, eternal God of all generations, may your presence in our lives in this new year renew our spirits and renew our strength. May it be a good year. May it be a sweet year.
It's an oldie but a goodie. Lishana tova tikatenu, Lishana tova tikatenu, tikotenu, v'tichatebu. May you have a happy new year. I can't hear you. May you have a happy new year. A little louder, guys. Year. A good
year, a sweet new year. May you have a happy new year. L'shana tova tikatevu v'tich atemu. May you be inscribed and sealed for a good year. Shana tova, Shabbat Shalom, and we will see you tomorrow morning.
Tova, Shabbat Shalom.